So we have
still
everything.
remember when Justin Fortune was his boxing coach. That's how
I never met Justin Fortune, but I know a lot of people who have trained
that's
with him.
how I
really?
connected with Alberto in New Mexico when I was shooting the longest yard.
God damn.
And then I connected with him when
That was a long time ago because New Mexico.
2004.
Wow.
We used to all go, me, Ivan Salaberry, Bob Sapp.
Ivan Salazar. I remember that guy. Bob Sapp. You say Bob Sapp?
Bob Sapp. Maurice Smith. We would all go to Alberto's because it was close to the hotel.
I bet you half the people listening right now don't even know who Maurice Smith is.
Yeah, just this badass kickboxer.
Oh man, he was the first guy to solve the puzzle, man. Like he learned how to scramble back to his feet instead of like getting into a jiu-jitsu match. If somebody took him down, he would just wait to stand up and then kickbox their ass. Remember when he fought Mark Coleman?
I didn't fight. I didn't watch fighting then.
Oh man,
that's when I thought Joe Rogan was crazy.
You didn't even know Joe Rogan back then?
Yes, I knew Joe. I know Joe since '98. And they would talk to me. Then I met Eddie through Joe. And I would get in the car with them, and I'm thinking about snorting coke and getting my dick sucked. And they're up there talking about jiu-jitsu sweeps. And I'm like, what the fuck is a jiu-jitsu sweep? I came from the 70s where you swept.
Was this before Joey Karate?
This is before Joey Karate, and this is before Eddie Abu Dhabi. This is before Eddie even dreamt of going to Abu Dhabi.
Eddie Abu Dhabi.
So Joe and Eddie were training partners.
At John Jacques back then.
And they would you couldn't shut them up. You couldn't.
So
shut them the fuck
back
up.
then. They were relatively new to it.
Eddie was already Eddie, like he was a brown belt.
Okay.
And Joe was like a blue belt.
Oh wow.
And Joe went every day, and that's all they talked about, and it was fucking. Annoying as fuck, but it was educational. It was being around something and then they would talk about, I was raised in traditional martial arts.
Me too.
I was raised in a time when Bruce Lee was, that was, the gi, and you ran on the streets, and you fucking broke boards, and you hit the fucking
did all that.
little pads that the guy would hold, and you weren't real if your knuckles weren't.
Oh man,
busted up.
Oh yeah.
Like
I had calluses on my knuckles. I had calluses because
whatever my fucking thing is called.
The makiwara.
Makiwara.
You know. It's funny you say that. Is I had the pleasure of training next to Dan Inosanto. You know Dan Inosanto?
Yeah.
Like I did a Muay Thai camp like back in the mid '90s, and he was telling us Bruce Lee stories. And one of the things he told us about Bruce Lee is that he never stopped working out. And he said he had one of those makiwaras or whatever you call it in the fucking car. He'd just be fucking hitting that motherfucker in the car. Or he'd be bouncing Brandon off his abs, doing ab workouts when he was watching TV. He'd never stop fucking working out, man. But yeah, my master used to have wooden floors, so we used to do our push-ups on our knuckles. So then I had fucking calluses on my first two knuckles. And I mean, that shit would like strike fear into people. People would like look at my knuckles and be like,
that was it. You had to have your knuckles fucked up.
Yeah.
I grew up under that.
OG shit.
I grew up under that tent. And then I got out of karate at 16, and I went a different direction. Then I met Rogan, like at 36 or something. And they're talking about this UFC, and I put it on, and it's this fucking Tank Abbott who looks like he hasn't stopped eating cheeseburgers in 20 years against some other guy that looks like just got out of prison.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fucking disgusting, And like, I think I watched two. Remember that there were. I was living in Denver. When all those UFCs would start, only Colorado let you get.
Oh yeah, for sure back then.
So my friends wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I watched one time. I saw some big fat guy in like a bodysuit, and I saw some guy in like prison fucking stripes, and I was like, "This isn't martial arts. This is a fucking joke."
Yeah.
And they would talk about it continually. Our relationship grew as friends. Eddie went to Abu Dhabi, opened up the Hammer House, his first school. And then he opened up...
was that with Mark Coleman?
No. He opened up on Santa Monica. I don't know what it was. What are you listening to me for?
Bomb Squad. Oh, Legends.
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad. Well, you're right. Damn, Lee.
He opened up Bomb Squad, and then they moved to La Brea and between Hollywood and Sunset, next to that disgusting Thai restaurant. Where I went in there one time with them, and while we were eating, I wasn't eating.
Is that when he partnered up with like Boss Rutan and Randy Couture? And they opened up Legends?
Yes.
Legends, yeah.
They partnered up with Chris
Riley. Wasn't it Chris
He
Riley?
used to coach Rampage.
Yeah, he was a Muay Thai coach.
Muay
Chris
Thai
Riley.
coach.
I'm pretty
You're
sure.
so upset about this. You've talked about this Thai restaurant for 9 years.
What's up with the Thai restaurant?
Because they were eating Thai food. I was next door, and I went in there. I was minding my own business. So I lived on the corner of that school.
Oh yeah, you used to live right down there.
I lived in Hollywood. I lived between Hollywood and Sunset on Selma. And there were nights I had nothing to do early, and I would walk to whatever that was on the corner there.
The Thai restaurant.
10th Planet.
Oh, 10th Planet.
Next to it was the Thai restaurant. And one day I go, "Where's that?" And they're like, "They're next door eating Thai food." And I go next door, I sit down. They're eating that disgust. Fucking waiters with slippers on and shit, dry feet. I'm fucking getting aggravated. And all of a sudden, in the middle of my aggravation, just to compliment what I was thinking, a roach fell from the ceiling onto the table, and it landed on its back, so his little claws. And I said, "I told you motherfuckers not to eat this filthy food," and I got up and walked out. And that was the whole, and I was sitting there going, that fried rice looks good with, I can't do it. I'm breaking my own
You're like
religion.
real particular about that kind of shit.
I like Chinese. I'm with the Chinese. They were here first. The Chinese were here first. When I got here from Cuba, there was Chinese restaurants everywhere.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Thai and Sudami and Ethiopian food. I don't know what you're talking about.
I love Thai food.
Anytime I got to take my shoes off, that ain't a restaurant. That's a stink fest. You got a bunch of white people with stinky feet that haven't showered all day. Let's take our shoes off. You take your fucking shoes off. I know what my fucking feet smell like. I ain't taking my shoes off because you're going to get agita while you're eating. It's like trying to eat while somebody's farting. You ever try to eat when somebody just farted a brown one in the air? It's that light shit. So that's how long I know Eddie. So when they would talk about jiu-jitsu, then they would get to the point where they would travel in packs. And we would go do comedy, and after comedy, they would clean out the fucking front. And Eddie would wrestle somebody from the staff. That was like a purple belt in Arizona. I don't know how many nights. Tate Fletcher. It would be me, Eddie, Red Band, Ari, Tate, Duncan, and Joe paid for Ari and Duncan to take jiu-jitsu. So everybody was taking jiu-jitsu except me. And they'd be out in that hallway fucking fighting to the death with furniture. I remember the Tempe Improv one night. It was fucking tremendous. And then we'd go to San Francisco, little Denny would show up. I know little Denny when he was too young to come to the clubs. He was 16. He's the one that used to run 10th Planet San Francisco. I still remember him being a 16-year-old kid and us sneaking him in through the back door. And me going on stage, bringing Rogan up and going back to the San Jose green room, and they'd be wrestling. Shoes would be off.
Yeah, man, like when you
and
first
they'd be
started doing
ripping
jiu-jitsu,
themselves. Yeah, they were ripping themselves
like when I
apart.
first got into jiu-jitsu back in, I don't know, like mid-90s in South Carolina, there was no jiu-jitsu in South Carolina. I used to have to drive to Virginia Beach to train with the blue belt. And then I'd go back and get one of my taekwondo buddies or hapkido buddies and show them what I knew. And then we'd fucking find a piece of carpet somewhere or wherever to fucking just train wherever, man. Because, there were no mats. Or I would go to a jiu-jitsu school, a judo gym or something like that where they had mats and just roll with those cats like that, So that's when you're so enthusiastic about it. You don't fucking give a fuck. You just train wherever. You just can't stop thinking about it. Especially like if you've been a traditional martial artist like us. And then you have black belts in these martial arts, and then you're getting choked out by jiu-jitsu people. You're like, what the fuck? It's just like,
it
it's
just
amazing.
eliminates karate and all that
you're just
shit.
like, wow, man. So then I remember I was just obsessed and just roll anytime you could, But now I've been doing it for 30 years, so it's
Before I hurt myself,
calmed down a little bit, but I still love jiu-jitsu.
Before I hurt myself, I hadn't rolled for about 2 weeks. I just do privates with this guy. He's a little older, and I mess around with him. It got to the point where, when I went to Alvarado, I loved that shit. I just couldn't get to this couple positions, my breathing. But jiu-jitsu opened up my eyes to how bad a shape I really was. Like,
Absolutely,
opened up my eyes to the fight or flight response, which, what happened? I used to be a criminal.
Yeah.
So my fight or flight response used to be top notch. That's what you live on.
Yeah.
When I put a gun to your ribs, you got flight or fight like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
When I kick down a door, And I'm looking, and I know for a fact Professor Joey has a kilo in his house. And I'm searching through shit, you know. Your flight or fight response is there. You learn how to adjust to that.
Sure.
You go deaf. If you're really a fucking real guy, you go deaf. If I know Joey parks the car at 7 and walks down whatever to go get the train over here in North Hollywood, and me and Lee are going to jump you by whatever, those 3 minutes before you get there, if I do my job right, I should be going deaf. I should hear your steps coming very softly before I hit you in the head with a stick.
Yeah, because what's that? Adrenaline starts kicking in.
Adrenaline starts kicking in.